Before we get started on Colorado's news of the day, a quick update on the shooting that killed 11 people in Virginia Beach. There was a time when that kind of thing would have led every newscast. Longtime public works employee walked into a municipal building in Virginia Beach this afternoon and started shooting indiscriminately. Along with the 11 people killed, 6 others were injured, including a police officer. Police shot and killed that suspect. Denver's mayoral challenger Jamie Gillis is promising to unite Denver. She united with the third-place finisher Lisa Calderon. And then Gillis's biggest donors united their dollars with Calderon's campaign bank account. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger looks into whether this was on the up and up.
Lisa Calderon recommended that her voters support Jamie Gillis when they stood together at a Unity News conference on May 14th. 2 days later, businesses associated with the Zeppelin family contributed $15,000 to Calderon's campaign. The Zeppelin family businesses have contributed to Gillis, and developer Kyle Zeppelin has long been a supporter. When asked if the Zeppelin businesses contributed to Calderon in return for her support, Andra Zeppelin told Next, absolutely not. We've always been Team Change. Supporting a candidate who tried her hardest to bring about that change is consistent with what we've been trying to do that whole time. In a text, Calderon told us, my grassroots campaign did a lot with a little. Immediately following the campaign, we asked the community to help cover the final costs for voter outreach through emails and social media. I am hopeful that the success of this direct democracy initiative will help even the playing field for future progressive candidates so that we can focus more on reaching voters than raising dollars. Campaign contributions have been plenty since the May 7th election. We just showed you Calderon's. Gillis herself has received $206,000 since May 7th, and Kyle, Mayor Hancock, $590,000.
A lot of developer money behind Hancock, a lot of developer singular money with Gillis and now Calderon.
And we'll see. We won't see any more until after the election, but we'll be able to tell you after the fact how much more money came in this last weekend.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Marshall. Hardest working man in show business. We're going to squeeze in one of Marshall's final truth tests on an ad in the mayor's race. This is a rare ad that comes to us from an outside group. Better Denver is airing an ad against Mayor Hancock, but Marshall found it's trying to mislead you.
Over the last 4 years in Denver, more than 20 of our female officers and firefighters have had to file harassment complaints against Hancock's administration.
No, this number is false. We checked with the Denver City Attorney's Office, which would know about the number of complaints involving city employees. In the last 4 years, there have been 7 harassment complaints, 5 from the police department, 2 from the fire department. That number does not include gender discrimination complaints, which have also been filed, or sheriff's department claims about inmates harassing deputies, which should not be counted as employees being harassed by the mayor's administration. With this Truth Test Brief, I'm Marshall Zellinger.
So we've told you that it's rare for a mayor of Denver to end up in a runoff like this. Has not happened in 24 years. But let's take a closer look now at the 2 times that it has happened in the last 40 years.
1995, incumbent Mayor Wellington Webb was edged in the first round by City Councilwoman Mary DeGroot, 42.8% to 42.7%. Webb then had a double-digit surge in support in the second round, and he held office easily, 54 to 46%. Go back, though, to 1987. Incumbent Mayor Federico Pena was below 40% in the first round, just like Hancock is now. Pena had 37% to Don Baines, 41%. Pena won the runoff in a squeaker, 51-49, a difference of just 3,000 votes. Both Denver mayors forced into a runoff have survived.
Now, the last Denver mayor ousted was Bill McNichols in 1983. He failed to make the runoff altogether after a police scandal and, of course, the famous botched response to a huge snowstorm. So Mayor Hancock is generally thought to be a continuation of Mayor Webb's legacy, and Hancock's expected successor is widely thought to be Councilman Albus Brooks. But this handoff in power between Hancock and Brooks is complicated by the fact that Hancock and Brooks are facing runoff re-elections right now for their political lives. Brooks led in the first round of voting in his council district by just 286 votes over Candy Cidabacca, a longtime neighborhood advocate and a rising star in progressive politics. That Council 9 district covers Lodo, 5 Points, Rhino, parts of Park Hill, Globeville, El Rio Swansea. Now, outside the mayor's race, this is probably the most closely watched election in Denver that's going to a runoff, and it is one that could have a lasting impact on Denver's leadership for years to come. So we asked both candidates to give us their final pitch as they head into the final days of the race.
You know what I've learned in this election is that the federal anger, the Trumpian-style politics has seeped into our local politics, and it really makes me sad and regretful. But at the same time, there's hope, because I knocked on 10,000 doors in this district. There's a vigor, there's an inspiration behind each door, and belief that we're headed in the right direction.
Denver's my home. My family's been in this community for 5 generations, and we're fighting for the soul of our city right now. And there's a place for all of us to participate and make sure that we take this city into our hands and make sure that we're shaping a city we'll be proud of.
You're gonna see me in every neighborhood in District 9, all 17 neighborhoods. We're gonna be knocking doors, we're gonna be hosting house chats, we're gonna be sitting with seniors, we're gonna be hosting phone banks, we're gonna get on Larimer tonight on the little, pub crawl bikes and make sure folks know about our campaign and about moving Denver forward and creating an inclusive Denver.
It's ballot chasing time in Denver, and so we've got a full weekend of events celebrating our volunteers on Sunday with a free concert for community at Cervantes. We've got canvassing all weekend, probably going to be our biggest canvas launches tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We'll have neighbors out here trying to get their friends and family to make sure that they turn their ballots in.
Watch that, Denver City Council District 9. So goes the city. Secretary of State Jenna Griswold is not saying today if she's going to announce a boycott of Louisiana after she declared a boycott of Alabama this month over its new abortion ban. Louisiana just passed a similar measure. Next obtained emails showing that Griswold allowed Planned Parenthood's political director to edit her official announcement of the Alabama boycott. She has stood by that decision. Griswold is a Democrat who ran promising to keep partisan politics out of the job of running Colorado's elections. Today, she did not respond to our request for comment on whether she's going to lead a boycott of a second state.
Our next question comes from a viewer named Terry. She asks, any idea if the rocks that came down by Dolores, Colorado showed up on the earthquake seismometers?
That is a very good question, Terry. So 2 of those rocks were, they were enormous. They were the size of houses. CDOT said one of them weighed about 2.5 million pounds. Carved this 8-foot trench right across State Highway 145 between Telluride and Cortez. The rock slide was about 12 miles north of Dolores last Friday, middle of the afternoon or so. The nearest seismic station, we're told, is 27 miles away. It's at Mesa Verde National Park. It did not register the rockfall, nor did it pick up the rumble on Sunday afternoon when CDOT blew up one of those massive boulders. So the craziest story of the day is not the Denver mayor's race, and it is not a house-sized rock hitting a highway. It is the Colorado Eagles minor league hockey team not returning the Kelly Cup after they won it in 2018. The league is about to have a new champ, but the Eagles still have the trophy. It makes what we said when they won their second straight championship sound like foreshadowing.
And the Kelly Cup will remain in Loveland. The Colorado Eagles.
Christine Noel meant it'll stay in Loveland like for another year, not indefinitely. But the Eagles just kept the thing. So this comes out after a former league official let it slip on a radio station in Ohio. All the Eagles will say is that the league knows what's going on with this trophy and that the league has ignored the Eagles' attempts to return it. The Eagles' official statement concludes, quote, "That is all that we will be releasing regarding this matter." I called the Eagles today trying to get to the bottom of this Kelly Cup hostage taking, but I failed. All the Eagles would tell me is that they still have the cup, they did not lose the cup, and they did not break the cup. I don't know what is going on.
Viri Valdez needed a special kind of help.
Yeah, so it kind of just fell out of the sky for me.
And that's how a first-generation college student went to law school.
I'm just glad I can make them proud.
Dana Waldbaum just wants to move.
It's the first positive experience I've had in 5 years.
We'll see the prosthetic invented so she can run next.
May 31st, and I just was watching this camera, snow showers on the lens, and just like that, some blue skies reappearing at the Eisenhower-Johnson Tunnel. Some darker skies pushing in across parts of the Flatirons into Boulder, but overall, we've been just monitoring a couple of isolated showers cruising off the foothills onto the plains. Most of the action now east of I-25 with some brief heavy showers and then a little bit of lightning. Tonight, these storms move out, partly cloudy, skies move in. We're going to stay in the 40s and 50s, so really mild here in eastern Colorado and even up in the mountains, not too bad. Tonight, everything clears out, and by morning, we're talking sunshine, but it doesn't last long. Clouds, storms, they're here before we know it. A little earlier, about 2 o'clock, they come rumbling here through to the city. By 5, they're across the eastern side of the state, and that's where we are going to be monitoring the chance for seeing some of the storms turn severe. Just a marginal threat, but it does exist tomorrow here in eastern Colorado. Those storms firing up in the early afternoon, so get things done outside early. 76 will be our daytime high, 80s in southeastern Colorado with 60s mainly up in the mountains. Upper 70s on Sunday, a big warm up early next week, and then we start to cool things off ever so slightly, bring back a chance of storms, Kyle, for the rest of next week.
Thank you, Danielle.
First-generation college students are charging right into law school, too, with the help of a U.S. District Court judge in Colorado. Our Byron Reed shows us how she's helping.
And then this semester, it was a little better.
Earning a law degree has been a dream for Viri Valdez ever since she was growing up in Commerce City.
I guess it was just a naive dream that I had, that later on as I grew, I realized that it was a lot more than that.
She received her undergraduate's degree from the University of Colorado and was one of the first in her family to go to college. But Valdez wasn't quite finished yet.
I'm a first generation, so I didn't know how to get to law school. It was something that I kind of had to dive in and kind of figure it out.
So there's still more things that you can do if you wanted to.
Now she's just finished her first year of law school at the University of Denver with help from a program called Law School Yes We Can.
I've received a lot of mentorship, a lot of networking opportunities.
The program was started by U.S. District Court Judge Christine Arguello to create a pipeline for low-income and first-generation college students who want to go to law school.
And the goal with this program is really to build the support network as well as the training and teaching the soft skills of professionalism that are so important for a career in law.
The group hopes to get more underserved students into the law profession by partnering up students with mentors.
It's very helpful to see people who look like you in the profession, who are succeeding, who are doing well.
And it was just uplifting to know that they knew what I was going through and they knew where I was going and how to get there.
Having those in the background are super important.
So students like Valdez can pursue a career in law.
Oh, they're so happy.
And make a dream come true for her family.
I'm just glad I can make them proud.
In Denver, Byron Reed, 9 News.
A runner with 2 legs and 1 problem.
I don't have any blood flow in the leg. There's no pulses and no blood flow. So if I get a wound, it won't heal.
Determination and technology have her running again. And we'll have your good news next.
In 1994, we said her name on the news. Dana Waldbaum was a tennis champion. Now she's in a constant battle with her body. Our Katie Eastman has the story.
Your hair's wet still, too.
Pay attention to the ribbons.
You look beautiful.
Notice the 6-year-old in high heels.
Lex, those shoes look fabulous on you.
See what Dana Waldbaum's life looks like on the outside.
Anyone would walk in would think that there's nothing wrong. I don't have any blood flow in the leg. There's no pulses and no blood flow. So if I get a wound, it won't heal.
5 years ago, Dana got a permanent blood clot in her upper right leg. When she walks, it feels kind of like a Charlie horse.
Times 100.
She's had 8 bypass surgeries, but the clot kept coming back. This was not the life Dana Waldbaum saw for herself.
They don't understand that I'm 42 and I need to be active. I live in Colorado, I need to be active, and it's debilitating on a day-to-day basis.
While at Manual High School, Dana won the Colorado State Championships in women's tennis. As an adult, she's done marathons and triathlons. Doctors told Dana this life was gone.
I haven't accepted yet. I haven't accepted this as my fate. I really think that there's something that's going to allow me to have a full functioning life again. And I feel like I'm not ready to accept defeat.
And there was one doctor who wouldn't accept it either.
She pushes way harder than I would ever push myself.
The vascular surgeon who works out with her every morning at 4 a.m.
And we'll do or we can do the plank challenge between the two.
Omar Mubarak was her friend when she could sprint up this hill.
This route I can only do wearing this.
Now they are friends, inventing a new way for people like Dana to walk.
So I thought, what if I take a blade and somehow just put it inside of the sole of a shoe and attach it to her leg.
Dr. Mubarak showed his sketch for a new prosthetic to the experts.
Let's see here.
As someone training for an Ironman, Zach Harvey was the only prosthetist who understood why Dana needed this.
And so it's unique in the sense that it's actually propelling the person forward and up.
Each week, he perfects the device they're calling Dash.
We can just take the blade out. It's kind of empowering, actually, to wear it.
Every day, Dana moves a little faster.
I have about 15 minutes.
Perfect.
The surgeon.
I'm at mile 3.
He sees more than a patient.
I just like to see a number 30 on there.
He notices the sweat.
Check out her right hook.
Pays attention to the determination.
She could do this forever.
Envisions a runner.
It's the first positive experience I've had in 5 years of someone saying, of course you're going to run again.
For Next, I'm Katie Eastman.
About 12 million Americans live with peripheral arterial disease. Dana's a real anomaly. Most are older, they're smokers, or had diabetes. We return with your good news and your feedback next. Highlight of our week is each Friday when we seek out and share your good news. And today we found it at the Butterfly Pavilion in Westminster.
What's good news to you?
Good news to me is... Oh.
Good news, good news.
My good news is that Butterfly Pavilion has recently secured $13 million from the City and County of Broomfield to build a new facility in Broomfield that is going to open in 2023.
My good news is I just got married and his 7th birthday is tomorrow.
My good news is I'm here with my friends.
My good news is that finally, after 13 years, I'm done with high school and school in general. But here comes life, and now I get to go and do some more school. So here's to that.
My good news is that school is out and summer's here.
That's about all I know for good news.
It's all good news for you.
You're keeping that lady from a pretzel. Chris writes in, Kyle, are you old enough to remember the Bill McNichols snow debacle? I am not, but I like to read. Ray says, my girlfriend says your jacket looks like her mother's curtains from the 70s. Sounds like she has excellent taste. See you next time.